What's up, everybody? Welcome back to They Call Me Mr. U in our one-on-one sessions. The Queen is in the house for the first time. What's up, girl?
Oh.
And of course, our good friends Matt and Nicole Gillette, entrepreneur power couple in the house. How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Long time since we chatted, man. A lot's been going on with you guys, but overall, you guys doing well? Want to chat a little bit?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Awesome. All right. So last time we talked, y'all had moved from where we are. We'll probably get into that a good bit, but y'all moved a good bit. Moved back with some family, and you're doing a lot of things in the entrepreneurial realm. And it's kind of often to hear that, but I think you guys had an anniversary recently, right?
We did.
Yeah.
Happy belated anniversary. How many
Happy
years?
anniversary.
It's been 8 years.
Thank you.
12.
12 years.
Yeah, all right.
Wow.
Well, 12
Congratulations.
years married, 20 something together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we started dating.
Congratulations. Well, I know many on here probably want to know the secret of a happy marriage. I don't know if we can tell them that, but if you haven't found the secret, what have you learned so far that you can share?
Oh man. I think
I told you guys it was coming, so don't be surprised.
I think having fun together is really a big thing.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, Matt loves to joke around and do fun stuff, and he pulls that out of me, and I think that keeps things like always exciting and new.
Yeah. I mean, somebody told me one time when we were getting married to never stop dating. And I try to write that on every wedding card that we go to, because that's important to feel like you haven't just like gotten married and then here's the end, now we just live together. So, like to continue to, I don't know, I'm a different person this year than I was last year. So
Wow.
Continue to learn people, about each other and never like stop trying. So
I love that. Can you share a little bit about what you mean when you say you're a different person? Can you get into that, or is that too personal?
Oh, no, I mean, like, I still don't want to know what I want to do when I grow up. So, like, every day is a little bit different.
Come on, man. Wow.
We've got different things going on now, and we have things that we're passionate about, and we have things that the Lord's put inside our heart. And, like, but every day is a little bit different. And so, we're learning new things. We're trying new things all the time. So, what I'm passionate about has from a vocational standpoint has been the same for about the last 8 years, but it pivots a lot. So
yeah.
Okay.
It's really interesting because we've known each other so long. So there are, of course, things that stay consistent over the years, but a lot does change too. So it's kind of like learning to grow and change together. And sometimes one of us, and I'm sure anyone who's been together for a long time would understand this. It's like one might be changing at one pace and the other one's changing at the other, but like how to still be together while that's happening at different times. It makes it interesting.
That's good.
Sometimes my priorities today are not the same as my priorities tomorrow. So, and then they might go back to what they were next week. So, it's all adapting. And
okay. Got some people chime in and say hello.
Hey.
Aaron Rock is a buddy of mine. We do a show together on Thursday nights, our wrestling show. If you want to jump in and say hi, he's all about relationships as well, I guess. So good to see you, Spirit. Thanks for jumping in and joining us on this show today. Now you guys made a big geographical move, which is kind of funny because most people trade the snow in and the cold for the sunshine. They move down to the south. You guys kind of did it in a little bit of a different way. Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, so we both grew up in New Jersey. We spent, our whole early lives there until about 22, 23, and then we moved down to Charleston, South Carolina, and we were down there for about 8 years. And then in February 2020, our world got shook up like everybody else's. But for us, my dad got sick and got diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is like bone marrow cancer. So at that time, Nicole was teaching, so she was teaching remotely, and I was doing construction full time in real estate. And so we kind of we're trying to figure out how to navigate the construction and the real estate. So I wasn't in people's houses as much as I was before too. So we came up here to help my dad and my mom transition through that time period, because it was, one, new to them, but also new to the doctors in that space too, and trying to figure out how to do chemo and treatment during COVID. And so we came up here. My grandmother lives with my mom and dad too, so helping take care of the responsibilities that they have while my dad went through that transition. So that's what got us here. And then it was about 2 years of doing kind of part-time back and forth. Like we bought some real estate investments here in PA. And so we kind of did some months in Pennsylvania and some months in South Carolina. And then we have 2 children. So we have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old now. And so they were, 2 and 1 at the time, or 3 and 1? No,
Yeah.
2 and less than
here,
1.
Yeah, Alanis was born here in Pennsylvania, so yeah.
Oh.
And so those drives in the truck were getting a little rough. And then also, we have family that we made in South Carolina, but we didn't have any biological family in South Carolina. And so not knowing, especially my dad's prognosis, and then also Nicole's family still all lives in New Jersey. So the drive to New Jersey is closer from PA. I mean, it's still 7 hours, but it's closer from PA than it is from South Carolina. So, we felt the tug to be up here, and relocated up here.
Okay. Well, I would have had an honor of you guys. I know that you would enjoy
Oh,
the reminder of Jersey. I know how you felt about that. So just,
I appreciate it.
I did it for you, Maddie. So just so you know, just to bless you, brother. That's why I did this. So that was all about you. But but most of almost all of our conversations over the years has surrounded parenthood, even when Nico was like super little, and the challenges that come with it. We got 3 grown daughters, so all we see is the kind of the grandchildren and their growing pains. We don't see, well, the adult children have growing pains too. But what are some of the lessons that you learned in the recent years about parenthood and juggling that challenge?
I'll let you start that, because that's kind of one of the main reasons why you're starting your new business too.
Yeah. Parenthood is the best gift in every way, because it's just like all the obvious joys of it. Getting to be able to see new people and help raise them, and all the like fun things that come along with kids. But it's also a gift in that it gives us challenges to walk through that just refine us. I was just saying this to somebody yesterday. I feel like when you're a parent, it's like all of a sudden a mirror is like held up to you, or it's like,
Yes,
whoa,
indeed.
here are some things that I kind of forgot about in myself, or like things that I might get triggered by, or things that I see that they might be struggling in that I think they got from me. And
Ain't that the truth?
yeah, it's like a gift though, because it helps like heal stuff in yourself, and then it also allows you to hopefully be able to support your child or children through that too, whatever it might be. But also the funny and fun stuff too. Like I will see things in our kids that I know they got from one of us, and things that like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. Like we used to be like, or say things like that when we were younger too. So it's kind of cool how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like a mirror is like one of the biggest things that I feel like I've noticed, in that I realize my own deficiencies and insufficiencies much in a brighter scale now, because I can. It gives an opportunity for me to say to our kids, like, I struggle with that too, and you're not alone in this, and become a teaching moment, and being like humble in that too. Because when you're just like by yourself, or you're running around all the time, you can usually just kind of brush it under the rug.
Absolutely.
But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, parenting also, I think, gave me a new perspective and compassion and understanding for others. The first people that come to mind are like our own parents. So seeing like, oh, that's what it was like probably, for you when you were raising us. And just like an appreciation for them, and just other family members in our lives too. I also am thinking of being on the other side of the table now. For years, I was a teacher, and I didn't have kids for the majority of my teaching career. And now I can see like how it feels to be the parent on the other side too.
Right.
Yeah. enriches like your understanding of others.
Yeah, I love that. Well, you guys have both experienced the lifestyle of being in the North and in the South. I think I have Wanda to a lesser degree because she's from the South solely. But what have you learned about yourself in PA and in South Carolina, both separately? I'm big into self-development. I guess you guys know that already about me. But what have you learned about yourselves in your time in PA and in your time down here in the South? Big takeaways, anyways.
One of the biggest adjustments that I had to get used to when we moved down south too was that like I had this like I'll tell you an experience. Like we were checking out. I was checking out the grocery store. I had just moved down there because I moved down there during the middle of the school year. Nicole wanted to finish out teaching her school year, so I moved down there in December. So I was down there by myself for about 6 months. Nicole came to visit, but didn't move down until the school year had finished. And I remember telling you a story of going to the grocery store and checking out, and I'm coming from working in Manhattan and living in New Jersey, and the lady checking the stuff out was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" You just, yep, and checking stuff out, and then picking up. I remember she picked up a vegetable or something and was like, "Ooh, yeah, this. What are you gonna make with this?" And me just being like, "You don't really care. Why are you asking? Just put the stuff in the grocery." And realizing that there are people that are not just like rush, 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 rush. Like people actually genuinely care and slow down, and like they're not trying to ask you to then take them to the store, and which is fine too, but like there's not an ulterior motive. And I feel like growing up in New Jersey and then working in New York, it was like you always feel like someone's out to get you. Someone's got an ulterior motive and why they're talking to you for something. So it was like this thing I had to learn, like, oh yeah, people actually like want to know your recipe and they don't care that there's 10 people in line behind you. So that was like a shift to actually like slow down and have conversations with people and like actually like really care about them as human beings, even down to like having a conversation in the line at the grocery store.
That's good, man. Good. How about you, Nicole?
As you were talking, I guess I was thinking about everybody has there are like common things in people everywhere. And I think that I anticipated the big differences moving from New Jersey to South Carolina and then even out to Pennsylvania. It's like a rural area where we are a bit more where we are now. And what I've come to see every single time is everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody is looking to find like purpose and connection in life. And so that's a takeaway I've found, especially as, again, going back to the family topic, how to communicate that to our kids and how to communicate that to the larger community wherever we might find ourselves. I also think I have just recently begun to see our moving around so much as a blessing. I really struggled with it for most of the years that we were doing it. I think just like this sense of instability, also because like even within, I know you all know this too, like even within one space of us living, we would move around several times within that city. And so
absolutely
it was hard. And I think rightfully so. Like I think there is like validity to that for sure, because I think stability is a good thing and feeling settled in ways is a good thing. But I also have seen that, not to sound like cliche, but the home is where the heart is. It's like the people that you're with, and it's that sense of feeling, again, like belonging. And I've just seen that where I think I've made peace with it a bit and found some encouragement in that, of like, we could move 1,000 more times, but like if we have each other, we have our family, we have friends, and even if you don't in places, you make that and you find that, and it's like a comforting realization I think I've seen lately.
That's good. All the years that we've known you, entrepreneurship has always been kind of part of our conversation too. I mean, everything from King Arthur's Castle to Redbird now and Wonder Learning. I want to get into some of that stuff, but I want to ask you a question. Generally speaking, are you surprised by where you are as business owners? Is this a change you saw coming in any way, or was it kind of a big shock, some of this stuff? or all of it?
It's a good question.
Do you have an
Yeah,
answer?
if you're still thinking, for me, I am shocked that I am doing what I'm doing this past year.
Okay.
It's very different than what I've done in the past. There's a lot of carryover, of course, but but to see it in you, maybe like years ago when he first started, when you became an entrepreneur, maybe it was a bit of an adjustment, or like, oh wow, I could see that in you, or I could see those strengths in you, but I guess I never pictured it, but here we are. But now it's like years later, I'm not shocked by a lot of, I think, what you're doing, because it kind of just makes sense. Like seeing your different giftings and your experiences, it's really fun to see how things just like start to fall into place. And it's like, oh, that thing you did like 7 years ago that felt a bit random at the time, I see how you're using it now. I see that a lot in your life.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I never pictured myself being self-employed 100%. I always kind of envisioned, like, growing up in New Jersey. I mean, you see entrepreneurs, but I just knew people with a lot of side hustles. You know, I got 3-4 side hustles. And so I just kind of envisioned, like, yeah, I'd have this thing, but it'd always be a side hustle, and it would never really be like my full-time thing. And so, yeah, I feel very blessed to be able to not just do one thing, but do 2 or 3. I guess I'm just a full-time side hustler now, you know? So,
Get that business card ready, man. Get it made.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Nicole, can you describe for me what kind of drove the whole process of the Wonder Learning company? How'd you get to this place where you are doing what you're doing? Like you said, it was kind of a surprise to you. Kind of walk us through how you got from where we knew you to be at to being the leader and the visionary of Wonder Learning. Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, well, I know you both know me well, and you would probably agree when I say I'm a bit more introverted. I can be quiet, and I also I don't love I don't love like being, I don't know, in these more forward facing roles all the time. But yeah, to be honest, I was very happy and content. I was at the time when this all started coming into place. I was at home with both Nico.
Where did you go? We lost our people here. Where did you guys go?
Can you see us?
Yeah,
we can.
If y'all want to take a break, just let me know. You can take a break. We can put you on pause. Okay. What were you saying now? Yeah, continue.
Yeah, I was stay-at-home mom with both Nico and Alanis. They're both, I guess, about like 1 and 2, 3 at the time. And I was very happy to just be in my own space, and I loved being home. And I am for sure somebody I will need to get out sometimes. We'll go, see friends or go to the library, go whatever. I'm not always just wanting to be home, but I do enjoy being home, and I was perfectly content. But I think there was now that I look back on it, I can see there were stirrings in my heart about some stuff that I missed, or maybe some things that I didn't get a chance to see or explore yet, of which I would say I missed my students. I missed being just around a bunch of people in the classroom. That was a hard transition, where I was used to being around, large groups of people every day, and coworkers and classes of 30 kids at a time. And so to then go to being home, which is the 2 of them, especially during the days where they didn't talk very much and they just cried. It's not like being around people you can have conversations with, and so it was a big transition, but I came to enjoy it and I was happy. But yeah, to be honest, the way that it came about, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was I never wake up in the middle of the night, right? I barely wake up in the morning. I'm a really heavy sleeper, and I will never forget it. I just sat up in bed, wide awake, and I was I need to do something with kids here in the Meadville area. And it was very fuzzy at that time. I didn't know what exactly it would look like. And I didn't really know exactly how I felt about it, but I was like, I know that I am supposed to be doing something with kids. And so over the next year, it was like a little bit more of light being shed on it, a little more clarity as we, move through different iterations of what it was maybe going to be. And now we're at where we are now. So that's why I say it was a shock, because I really didn't anticipate doing something like this, but I've been loving it so far. It's been very hard in a lot of ways. I've learned a lot over the past year or so, but I really am loving it too.
Okay. Well, for all you guys that love to listen to audio podcasts, the Wonder Learning podcast is incredible. Definitely invite you to check it out on Apple Podcasts. I believe Spotify, you should be able to find it there, but Apple Podcasts for sure. Kind of tell us what the vision is for Wonder Learning. What I don't know if you explain how it came about, but what are you trying to accomplish with it? What's the end goal? What's the big picture or goal for Wonder Learning? If you can share that with us.
Yeah, the big picture is just that families are connecting with each other and with other families around them. We are just in such a distracted and busy, overwhelmed world. And a lot of times families are just feeling the brunt of that. I saw it when I was in education, and I see it even now in our own family as we're parents ourselves. It's like this just sense of like feeling like we need to perform and we need to be like doing all the things. And a lot of times it's like the quality time gets put on the back burner, and it's really to all of our detriment, ourselves as individuals, our relationships with our kids, and our relationships that are so critical to happiness and community with other families and other people around us. And so, yeah, that's the vision of what we're trying to do. And so we're going to have a space that will have an indoor play space. We'll also have classes. There's going to be parent coaching that's offered in this space too.
Very good. Awesome.
Yeah, we'll come alongside families that are working towards all different types of goals, whatever it might be, whether it's like a behavioral goal or it's an academic goal, or just, looking for new and different ways to connect with each other. So there'll be different types of classes that will do that. Some will be focused just with like adults, and we say parents, but of course, like I've already been collaborating with other people who don't have kids themselves, but they're involved in the lives of kids, whether they're, an aunt or a grandparent or an educator too. Like just anybody who works with kids will be offering different themed classes and experiences there.
That's awesome. It's going to be some online resources as well too for people who are not close to where you are but want to kind of join in and partner and collaborate with you. Would it be online resources available too through Wonder Learning?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we started the podcast. It's called Raising Wonder. And it was like, honestly, just like an additional thing that we were wanting to offer that was free and accessible to anyone who maybe like is not in the area or is not able to, for whatever reason, participate in the parent coaching or take the class or anything like that. We're like, well, this could just be something people might be interested. We could talk on the podcast about some of the topics we'd be covering in the space. Also just like any topics related to raising kids and what that looks like. Again, whether you have kids yourself or not, we've been able to talk to all different types of people from different backgrounds. And it's funny because like it's been really well received. A lot of people are asking about, like when's the next episode? And I was listening to the podcast and it was like surprising me. I was like, oh, it's funny. It's actually like just like this little side thing that we were doing. But I think we should put a little more respect on it of like maybe like get some real equipment or like spend some more time editing it. But it's been fun. Like
there you go.
Don't have to tell you, you're doing such an awesome job, and I'll have to maybe get some advice from you because we've been having fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. The whole family situation, I mean, we can all probably talk about that for a whole hour. The whole family dynamic, it's always a sticky situation because these are the folks that know you the best and then the closest to you. So if they want to do things or they have motives, you're right in proximity. So it's always tough to kind of navigate this tough family dynamic because your heart's attached to it all. Yeah. But you guys made big sacrifices to do what you're doing when it comes to family. What have you learned, or what's been the biggest challenge in making the moves and the sacrifices you guys made, even from the moving from your home in Jersey and PA where you had family, move away to South Carolina where you didn't have any, you start making new family, like you said, and then moving back to PA again and being around the same folks? What's been one of the, if you had to name one big challenge for each of you, what's that been? If you can share, if it's not too personal.
I feel like I could say yours, but I don't really know mine.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna play the Jeopardy music in a few minutes if you took too long.
I mean, for you, you're still, obviously we've known each other for a long time, so like my family is your family and we're married and your family is my family, but like you're still far from your mom and your dad and your sister and your brother, and so you guys have a really close-knit family, so moving around was a huge sacrifice for you. Even choosing to move to South Carolina, I mean, I remember having conversations about moving to Morristown, and it was, you know, an hour, 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
And so then we moved to Charleston and then here. And so, you know, you guys have a very good, close-knit relationship with your brothers and your sisters and your mom and your dad. So I know that that's been a huge sacrifice for you.
Yeah, they've been gracious each time. They're like hoping that we're going to say like, hey, we're moving back to New Jersey. It was like every new move we've moved so many times.
We've done, not back to Jersey.
They're always so kind about it, even though I know that they miss us a lot. But they're awesome with making time to visit us. We make time to visit them. We also, so we're grateful for technology today too. We, you know, video chat all the time with our my family in New Jersey. Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good one. That is a challenge. I was also thinking, I don't know if this exactly answers the question, but I was also thinking like I have found through parenting a challenge. Yeah, I guess it's not specific to the moving piece of that question, but a challenge that I've seen is that I carry some baggage with my experience being an educator and working in schools. I think that I thought a lot would come easier to me than it did. I still am just like learning every day, and I struggle through different things. And, you know, I'll be hard on myself and say like, you know, I worked with kids for, you know, X many years, and why am I having a hard time with this behavior? Or like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do as a mom in this situation. So it's been, I think, humbling to see that we are all just trying our best. And I think also to have empathy for others too, who are going through maybe similar struggles, and even those who might not have a background in education or like are new parents or had never really been around kids before. It's just giving me a heart for that a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, specific to moving in geographical issues or the hardest obstacles that we've run through, you know, getting a business started, set up, building a clientele in South Carolina, and then shutting it down and moving here was a transition, and that was hard. And so trying to find new clients, I mean, you lessen those speed bumps. They're a little less frequent. You know how to get started, you know, like a little more about how to grow and how to market, but who you should talk to, what groups you should talk to. But I mean, we were at a point in South Carolina where we had really good sub list. We had a wait list. We had people that knew who we were. You know, we weren't advertising at all. We were busy. So coming here and then having to spend money on marketing again and meet people and like explain what you do is it's an obstacle.
Yeah, that's true. That is something we've talked about before, where we would say like, I just can't wait for the day when we can like hang out with somebody and not have to be like, yeah, our names are Matt and Nicole. We just moved from Charleston, and like explaining over and over again like who you are. It's like when you finally get past that and you have those relationships of like, we can just be like, oh, what was your day like? You know, because we know each other now. That's a gift that I don't think I realized before having to do that so many times after moving multiple times.
You know, the art of an inside joke, like
yeah, you miss your friends too. You miss people that you spent so much time with, and it's hard to see again as a parent, like in our kids too. They were pretty young obviously when we moved, but Nico still like remembers people and things from Charleston and will ask about it and want to go. He was actually just saying he wanted to go back and eat oysters. So it's like, yeah, it makes you a little sad of like, oh, they miss it. And it was a hard transition. But I think it builds character. It teaches lessons too. And, you know, again, it's that piece of like, we might have moved, we might miss things, we might miss people and places, but we're still together. Like our unit is still together and we could still
I was
see
gonna
those
say
people.
that too, and that's like that's been talking about obstacles, but it's been a benefit too because, you know, Nico, we took them down to Pittsburgh. We spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh after Alanis was born because she had some health conditions that we had to take her to a specialized physical therapist in Pittsburgh, and so we spent a lot of time traveling down there. But we would make the most of it, so we spend a night at a hotel, we go to the zoo, we do something like that time, but Nico has this new obsession with Pittsburgh now, and whenever we're there, he'll say like, "When we're done with the house we're living in now, can we move to Pittsburgh?" Like he has no identity of what regular people do, where they just move into a house, stay there for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
He thinks like, when we're done with this one and we move again, you know, can we try this one? But it's not a complaint. It's like he's excited about like what's the next thing we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And so that's been fun to like turn something that could be an obstacle into something that's like exciting and new.
I tell you what, I refer to you guys as an entrepreneur power couple for a reason, man. You guys, I mean, Matt, you're in the building realm, you're doing construction and industrial, and Nicole, you're heavy in the education realm, and now you're doing a podcast, which is awesome. I'm trying to figure out how you guys think about the times that we're in, because when I look at what goes on around us, I think about you guys because in 2020, that was probably one of the worst times for both markets that you're in, educationally and with real estate. The impact was crippling, to say the least. So I think about how things are changing so much. How do you view what you guys are doing? Do you see it as long-term bulletproof opportunities, or do you see it as something as a springboard into something else? How do you guys view it? If you don't mind sharing that, I'm kind of going into your brain, into the synapses in your brain, trying to figure out how you're thinking. But what do you think about that? Because both of those areas are they're stable and they're steady because the world needs them. But when we have a wild economic situation, it can be impacted greatly what you guys are doing. So how do you guys view what you're doing long term, big picture wise?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? You want me to?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. It's like very true. I hadn't even thought about it like us together, like with the two fields that we're into. That's very accurate. Yeah, I'll start out by just sharing my love for teachers. They are some of the hardest working people, and they really love what they do, and they love their students. You know, every field has like outliers and special circumstances of what might happen. But I mean, like I can say confidently, working in different areas over the years, different schools, meeting many different educators, they need some love. They need some support. They need to be paid more. They need to get just like all the things.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the whole teaching through those couple of years, I mean, even still happening right now, I'm thinking of many of my teacher friends who are like, they've been in the classroom for a while now and school didn't even maybe start yet. And they're just like, you know, setting things up, thinking about their kids that are going to be coming through those doors, spending a lot of their own money, like making sure that they have everything they need. And so it's even right now as we speak, probably I'm confident of that. But I think like, especially through those years you mentioned too, with teaching virtually was a huge challenge in all the ways that we have come to see. And I think we're going to still see effects of it down the line that we don't even know about yet. But I am optimistic in other ways too, because of just like the powerhouse of people who are in the education world and have that. It's like they have training and knowledge, but they have like this heart behind what they do too. I just like am optimistic of maybe things that could be changed or the narrative might be able to be shifted, or new ideas might come into that field in the coming years. I would love to still be a part of that. And I hope that Wonder, in one sense, can be doing just that. That's, I think, a big part of the heart behind what we're doing with Wonder is I would leave so many conversations with my students, or even their parents, and or other educators. There for a while I was able to help train and lead newer and younger teachers, and model through the classroom day, like what are best practices, how can we support kids. And I would leave so many of those interactions, and I'm thinking specifically a lot of conferences I'd have with parents who I just like came to love and felt like they were my own family too. Leaving those conversations just wishing, I wish we had more time together. I wish that we could, this very challenge that we talked about, whether it was behavioral or academic or just like social, emotional, transitioning from one thing to the next as kids grow up or as families go through changes. Like I just would leave those meetings wishing we had more time together and that we could actually practice these things like in real time. And so that's what I hope to see happening at Wonder. I really look forward to that. So like just being with a family for like an hour straight, like parents and kids or whoever other caregiver or family member that might be involved in their life, and having that goal we're working towards and get to do it like in a connecting, bonding, hopefully fun way to support them. So yeah, I think that's what I took away from that time period. It was a challenging time to be an educator and to be in that field. And it still is in a lot of ways, like I said, but I'm excited to be able to hopefully be a part of something that might be shifting in the culture with that.
That's good. Yeah, and to piggyback off what you said, I think that whenever you have a huge shift, like we had, like globally, you have a lot of people that might be in and out of the profession, trying something new, and so I have hope that being a teacher is not an easy job. It wasn't an easy job before. It's not an easy job now, and it won't be an easy job ever. But during that time, it was extra hard, and so you lost a lot of teachers, you lost a lot of educators, you lost a lot of across all different fields. But I remain optimistic that the people that are still in it, that were in it before, that are still in it, saw the changes during the pandemic, still have a new rejuvenated energy for what could be, and you have like the cream of the crop, still there, that fought through it and are still caring about their students. So yeah, for me personally, I think that we saw a lot of changes during COVID with interest rates and buying patterns, and tenants losing their jobs, and things like that. And so for us, we were very blessed in that our management side, we didn't miss a month of rent. And when a tenant had issues where they had lost their job, they were in between jobs, they were doing the best they could. We created programs where people could pay weekly, they could get on payment plans, but we managed all the properties we had with no loss in income during that time. So we were very blessed in that aspect. We did some buying and selling during that time, which was hard because there was lots of people buying and selling when rates were 2% and 2.5%. And so to talk about long-term plans for that or fear in the market, I'm really thinking long-term on what is going to happen when a lot of people who bought their houses at 2.5% with a 30-year mortgage, like what does that do when you now outgrown your house 5 years later and you want to scale up, but now your mortgage is 7%, you don't want to let go of the 2.5%. Is that going to increase property management where people are going to now have more second homes, third homes onto that, or is it going to increase the construction side because now they're going to do an addition off of their existing house because so like that's what I'm thinking through, and that's why we are now we started a property management firm as well. So we're trying to grow that side because we've managed our own properties now for about 8 years, and had a portfolio of about 30 properties, a mix of long-term and short-term. But now we're going to start doing it for clients as well. And so that's how we're trying to pivot to how I see that market going in the next couple of years. And then also the construction offsets that a little bit as well.
Okay. Congratulations, man.
That's awesome.
We're definitely proud of you, man.
Thanks.
One thing I try to encourage folks to do is because even though we hear all the things, the changing of the tide economically in the world and all the different things that happen, all the factors we have to factor in when we're entrepreneurs in any way, is that I try to encourage that we have the answers because of who God is in our life. We have the answers to a lot of the questions that are going to pop up, a lot of the issues that are going to happen. We have answers for those, and we have to be the answer. I'll let you answer this with a yes, a not yet, or no, to keep it simple for you, right? Do you see yourselves as part of the future solution? Has it been revealed to you that you're a part of the future solution with education and the way it's going to look in 5 or 10 years from now? And on the industrial side, real estate side, do you see yourself as part of the solution to how it's going to grow and change? You say yes, no, or maybe, or not yet.
I say maybe.
Okay, that's fair.
The light
That's
is
honest.
still like dim, but it's for what I'm doing.
Copy that.
But
I would say yes. Like I see us pivoting in that direction, and every day, like that's why I said I don't know what I want to do when I grow up, because every day the market changes, and you might stay within your same highway, but you're in a different lane, and so I'm thankful that the Lord has given us the gifts and the talents that He has, and I think that we are part of the solution because we are just trying to be obedient to what He has for us.
yeah.
At the end of the day, if we're not part of the solution, I believe that God will correct us and make us part of it.
I guess that's true, yeah. So we're just like along for the ride, trying to be obedient and trusting in Him. So yeah, I guess it would have to be a yes then, really. Yeah, when you put it that way.
Yeah, that's okay to not have all the answers. I don't
Yeah,
expect it of anybody, Yeah.
Yeah.
I stand with the learning tree and keep on receiving that fruit. I mean, you undoubtedly have many people who value you in your own stomping grounds out here, and we're part of that. What are you discovering about Meadville that kind of has been a pleasant surprise, or that kind of makes the move make sense? Because anytime I've moved probably 30 times before I even met Wanda. Literally, that's not an exaggeration. In New York, I probably moved about 20 times just in New York alone. That only include Florida and South Carolina. But what have you learned that has made the move make sense in your mind? Like, you know what, this is definitely right. We needed to do this, or something that's been a pleasant surprise for you. And both of you guys can answer this one. Pleasant surprise, and what made the move make sense that you has been revealed to you. If you can answer that.
I would say that the fellowship of believers that we have found here has been great, and that was hard because we left, as you know, a really good fellowship of believers in Charleston, and so we miss our family down there that we built, but we came up here and really prayed about it and moved around and tried different churches like you do when you move to a certain area, and we feel like I can speak for the both of us. I feel like the Lord, it's like when you're putting a puzzle piece together and it's just like 1,000-piece puzzle and it's scattered on the table, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this one pops in. It feels like it made some sense. Like all these random things that have gone around, like once we started meeting the people in our church and getting to know them, some of those puzzle pieces started to really like pop together. And we belong to a church that's called Radiant here in Meadville, and they do church different. It's a micro church model, and so we do a church where we meet right now in a home, and it's getting big. It's about 45 people on any given Sunday in the living room and dining room of a home with a lot of kids. But we love it. We do church family,
I love it.
And then the basis of that, we also have a coffee truck that's called, not we, the church has a coffee truck that's called 205 Fahrenheit. And the goal is to, we've acquired a building and we're renovating that, where church will then meet in the coffee truck, in the coffee house. And so it will become hopefully a third place for a lot of people in the community who come in and get coffee and things throughout the week. And then hopefully will join us for church on Sunday.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
So pouring into the community, not just being a sayer of things, but a doer of the word,
I love
is
that.
something I feel like has really resonated, where I feel like a lot of churches can, you know, you come here on Sunday and that's it, and then we'll see you next Sunday, and there's not a lot of involvement. And I'm not throwing shade in that way, but we wanted something more, and always like questioned why the church wasn't involved in the community as much.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's really been awesome to be a part of that and see that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love
What do you
Meadville. I love living in this area. A few things come to mind. Things similar to what you were saying, just meeting people in that way in our church and in that community. Like people who you know, like you meet somebody and you feel like you've known them forever. There's been lots of relationships that have been formed like that, and it's
That's
just
good.
really great. And it's like in the ways that you just feel loved and supported, but also like calling you up to do what you're being asked to do. You know, it's like allowing us to really walk out in faith and try, just try things that I feel like are on our heart. And so that community has really supported us in that way. And then I think what I love about Meadville, and something that I was surprised to learn and was just like, I thought was really interesting, was there's a big artistic community here. And I love the arts.
wow.
I love like media arts. I love painting and drawing and all of that. I also love the theater and I love music. And there's a lot of that here. And it's so
Wow.
cool.
Okay.
Where you just like meet people too, where they're like, there's an arts collective here. There's just an emphasis on being able to have, I think there's like 3 theaters, like performing arts theaters in the area. There's definitely at least 2. And I don't know. I have found that to be really cool about this area. And so I've like quickly became endeared to it, because I was like, this is like my jam. I like all that
That's
type of stuff.
awesome. So Matt singing. So is Matt singing again? So I'm excited. Is he singing again?
Yeah, he is.
I do lead worship at church. Yeah.
What?
I'm
Man, come on.
not on the stage. They just did a rendition of Jersey Boys. I probably should have signed up for that, but
Yeah, you should have.
That would work.
I didn't make
Of course.
but
That's awesome, man. So last entrepreneurship business question for you guys. For most entrepreneurs, their goal is to work until it starts feeling like work, or work until they can retire. What's the end game for what you guys are both doing individually? What's the end game? If you can see, if you see that far into the future, have you even seen that yet? But what's the end goal for the work that you guys are doing?
for me, it started out, I'll be honest, it started out very selfish. You know, it started out as, I want to be in control of my time. I want to, nobody tell me what to do. I want to invest in real estate for long-term wealth and my family's generational change. And it has really shifted, which is a testament to the Lord, in that he can take things that you didn't even plan them to be a certain way and turn them differently. Like right now, it really is. I think I can say that, and he's working on me. Like I said, it changes day by day, but it really is like, just to hear, well done, that good and faithful servant, because we have taken the things that we thought were for our own selfish motivations and changed them into something that serves people and also feeds our family, and our bills are paid and all that. And so like it has shifted from how soon can I retire? Can I retire at 40 and just live off of this, to like, how long can my body take doing this? And then if I'm not gonna, if I can't do this for a long time, what else can I do to serve the Lord? And then also make sure that, I see my kids, I spend time with Nicole, I can serve in church and do whatever it is that I have bandwidth, mental load, and capacity to do whatever it is the Lord's calling us to do next. So it doesn't really, if we can continue to have what I like to call time equity, that we can do other things in whatever it is the Lord wants us to do, then I guess that's an answer to the end goal. As soon as it shifts, the time scale switches to now we're like a slave to our business, and we can't contribute to people in church, and we can't help people who need help, then something needs to recalibrate.
Copy that. Nicole, how about you? Any additional thoughts? Or I'm sure you shared some of that too. So,
yeah, I think the posture that we hope to have is one of worship, like looking at work as a form of worship, and how it's like we just get to do all this stuff that it's like the work's already finished. It's like we just get to be obedient and faithful in it. And so looking at it that, I mean, I do not live there every day. I like move out of that posture and back into it, but it's like a practice that we know is the right way to be, because it's like it's not even that there are goals to get to, because it just feels like then it's like performing for something, or to find our worth in that, or and that's not where we find our identity. And we just, it's like we just get to do this stuff that's a lot of times really fun, and there's rest and peace there available for us if we're doing it in that posture. The times that we start to like, oh, we gotta grind this, or like I'm just gonna really like plug away at this thing that maybe I'm not even being asked to do in that moment, that's when we start to feel like we're striving and like really feeling tired, or really feeling confused and lost. Because it's like if our goal is just to be more like Jesus every day, and to love others, as ourselves, more than ourselves, like that's really all we need to focus on. And so the rest of it is just like part of the experience.
That's awesome. I love this. I'm gonna ask you guys a question for you to ponder it and answer it a little bit later before we close out. But what scripture or scriptures have been key to you guys during this amazing season of your life? Just put it out there so you can think about it, ponder it. We're gonna move back to a different question, and we'll come back to it. Give you some time to think of it, pull it up on your phone, whatever it is. But for you guys in PA, favorite PA food staple. That means that it's the best thing going in Pennsylvania. You gotta have this when you're there. When we come and visit you, this is what we're going to get first. What do we eat? What's your favorite food staple in PA? What is
ice cream? I posted about it today. Actually, the best ice cream is, there's a lot of really good ice cream places.
Wait a minute. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
I'm an ice cream person too.
Very fresh. It's good. There's a lot of good ice cream. Yeah,
Matt, you agree with this?
Like the thing to do.
Yeah, I will say that. I mean, we got a lot of farms, and so there's some places around here that'll use like fresh local milk and stuff too. And it's interesting because our summer is like 3 weeks, and so I'm just kidding.
More than 3 weeks before.
It's short, but it's a good 2 months. But like but it no, I mean like true summer. We got spring, summer, and fall, but like. Yeah, true summer is like,
was a change,
but anyway, it's the ice cream is really good. I honestly didn't think about that, but I probably
your favorite. Wow, I'm very shocked. I didn't expect ice cream. But I'm here. I'm here for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you thinking something else?
No, I was having a hard time thinking of the answer, to be honest with you.
It must be ice cream for real. Okay.
I mean, PA is so big, right? PA is so big. So you got geographical foods in different areas. So when we go to Pittsburgh, we like to try, there's like especially in the Strip District, there's a larger Polish population. So we will get homemade pierogies, kibasi, pierogies, stuff like that. That's good. Yeah, and then we grew up in New Jersey, like we said, but we spent a lot of time in Philly, and so obviously, there's lots of.
Don't you say cheesesteak, but don't you say it?
which is the best one.
Don't you
You
dare
got
say
to
it.
start deciding which one. And is it
We don't have
Geno's?
time for that kind of debate.
Is it Geno's? Is it Pat's? Is it, what is it?
Oh, no, it's not. So it's not Geno's, huh? It's Pat's.
It's
With
been
cheese
a while.
or without.
Is
Oh,
it
my
Beef Whiz? Is it provolone? That type of stuff. So
A lot of factors.
a lot of factors. Yeah.
I love that.
But yeah, no, I think I'll just have the second year answer. Yeah, ice cream is
Yeah.
it's a thing here. Like there's lots of businesses that are only open during the summer months, and you tour and you go around and go to different ice cream places, and there'll be lines no matter what time of the day it is. And
I also have to say this too. So many families that we've met here are so welcoming. Like if you came and visited us, it'd be like, I can think of like multiple families that would like have you over their house and have a home cooked meal. And that's like some of the best eating that we do around here. Like we love eating at our friends' house and our family's house. Like that's always a really good way to eat around here too.
That sounds awesome. Okay. How about favorite South Carolina food staple? And please don't say shrimp and grits. Say anything else but that. Favorite South Carolina food staple. What do you miss? Like when you come down here, you're already in that place. As soon as your feet touch ground, you're in that place. Favorite food staple out here in South Carolina. If you have one. If you don't have one, that's fine too.
We have too many. That's one of the biggest.
Too many. No, we just want one, man. Come on. What's the one that comes to mind first? Like, I gotta have that. If nothing else happens, I'm gonna have this.
I would have to agree with Nico with oysters. I miss oysters a lot.
Yeah, fresh seafood, just fresh seafood in general. Yeah, really fresh seafood.
We would steam oysters in our backyard all the time, or go out to like local places that would steam them. You stand around with everybody, shucking them. It's fun.
Nico is more cultured than I remember.
That kid loves sushi. That's his favorite food, and we don't have any sushi in this in our town.
There's no sushi in PA at all?
No, just in our town. So we got to drive a good 30 minutes or so to go get it. But when we do, I mean, that kid's got his own chopsticks he brings with him to the restaurant.
He does, with a carrying case.
With a carrying case.
I love it.
Wait. Sounds you said chapstick. I'm like, that's not what it is.
Chopsticks.
A carrying case for chapstick. This man is going too far. You said chopsticks. Okay, I'm with you. It's still strange, but it's better than the alternative.
It's on like a little lanyard, like he puts it in and then lets it go.
No, it's no chopsticks.
This
Alanis was like
is crazy.
Alanis actually,
she's been banned from chapstick because she eats it all the time. She repeatedly asks to buy it every time.
I was gonna say, if you asked her the last question, the delicatessen in the area, it would be any form of flavored chapstick.
Yeah. She goes, I promise I not eat it this time. And I'm like, oh, I don't believe you, so we'll wait another year or so.
It smells so good. You think she's the first one to do this? She ain't the first one. It's not original. It's been done before. Ask me how I know. It smells so good. You can't. I get it, but Alanis, don't do that, please. Okay.
Calls it Chappick. I love it.
Chappick. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. All right. So if you can give some advice to our listeners on how to juggle business and family life, what would you share with them if you had any advice?
Keep rest a priority. There's more rest available to you than you often think there is. And there's more benefit to it too, to taking it rather than skipping it and like plowing through.
I love that. All right, now it's time. Okay, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's good. Yeah, because I feel like we live in a culture where like the hustle culture, you just gotta grind, and you just gotta grind a little harder, and then you gotta grind a little longer, and it will come to you. But I think that God honors rest and setting boundaries and having limits too, realizing that it's no matter what you do. Yeah, like you could work harder, yes, you can, but at the end of the day, like our bodies were not made to be 7 days a week, 365. Yeah. You know, if the God of the universe has to rest, then surely we do too.
Facts. All right, here's that last question. the scripture or scriptures that have been key for you guys in the season that you're in. Come on, bring it to me. Bust it out. Don't get it wrong now, because I might know.
Oh boy, I was going to do mine from memory. I hope I can remember now. I think of Isaiah 30:21, where it says, you'll hear a voice behind you saying, go to the left or to the right. This is the way, walk in it. And I think that has been really important to me over the past year of so often feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, but just realizing that's okay. And that he's with me and that he's guiding me the whole time. And that's, again, like I said earlier, that's all it's about, that I'm just walking with him.
That's good. I had a few, but like the one I'm thinking of like right now is Philippians 2:5, where it says to adopt the same attitude as that is in Christ Jesus, who existing in the form of God did not consider equality with God as something to be exploited. Instead, he emptied himself by assuming the form of a servant, taking on the likeness of humanity. And when he had come as a man, he humbled himself to become obedient to the point of death, even to death on the cross. And for a couple of reasons. One, like Jesus did not exploit that opportunity or that relationship. And I think as entrepreneurs, especially one coming from a sales background, like and from Jersey, you're thinking of like all these different strategic partnerships you can make and use this relationship or use that relationship. And like the one who had the most incredible relationship did not, use that relationship to forget about us and get himself out, but instead he was obedient. And so yeah, especially like moving here and trying something new, that was very much met with some resistance. I'll be honest, on my part, I love Charleston. We both love Charleston. We missed it, but like we built this thing here and we should stay here and God's opened doors here. But we felt that God was calling us here in the beginning. For what reason, we weren't really sure. But we can see now that when you are obedient, you take those steps of faith. And I'm remembering another verse too, that like he doesn't promise to like give you the clear direction in front of you, but he will light the path at your feet. And so like knowing that right in front of us, we are just called to be obedient and take those steps that we can see right at our toes potentially. That's it.
Well, there's no question you guys are an inspirational couple. We had a friend of mine drop that comment. Not sure if you saw that, but she's been a big fan of our podcast shows, and she thinks you guys are inspirational. She's not lying. You guys most definitely are, and we definitely miss you and hope to see you again very, very soon. I miss Nico more than I thought. I miss him drooling over me. That part won't happen anymore now because you're too big to drool now. But I miss all that stuff. But,
he is in a spitting phase right now.
Yeah, you might get your question.
Okay, drooling and spitting. Yeah, okay. I think I picked drooling over the spitting part. Less intentional, but
bite his nails and spit his
miss you guys so much, and can't wait to see you again soon.
Yes.
We're gonna have you, for all you guys that are listening to the show today. Matt and Nicole are gonna drop all of the information on the YouTube channel in the comment section under the episodes. You can get the links to the Raising Wonder podcast and to Redbird Realty and all the things that they're doing that might be of interest to you. But wherever you are and however you're listening to the Call Me Mr. You, the podcast, we thank you again for making us a part of your morning, your day, and your week. We're your weekly mirror check before you change the world. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you for welcoming Matt and Nicole Gillette. Awesome couple. Hope you hear again from them soon. And enjoy the show. Well, enjoy the music. That's the end of the show.
Love you
Thank
guys.
you.
Love you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.